We're going live again on the Deborah Davis broadcast. Get ready. All right, we are in felony mode. All right, we've got Mr. Mequio, Mr. Knopfinger, Mr. Bush, and Mr. Gibson with us. I'm going to bring in our customers. I have to figure out who one Nord Plus is. Well, it's that dude. Don't want to. I don't know who he is. I'm going to bring in Jason Lytle, Jaden Howard, Donna Topping, and Paul.
Hello? Yes, this is Paul.
Morning. Paul.
Good morning.
Mr. Rockus, stay right where you are.
Okay. Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
This is my first time using this.
Well, you're not. I wish you were here live in person, but we'll do the best we can. I only have phone. All right. One Nord Plus Nord. Dude, could you unmute your phone? No,
is it me?
Paul, no. I'm going to put you in the waiting room.
Oh,
because you struggle. One Plus Nord. Dude. Turn your audio on.
It's right there. Here you go.
Hello? Right. Yay. All right, who am I speaking with?
Brody Johnson.
All right, Brody Johnson, your name isn't One Plus Nord. Let me give you a name.
All
right. We've got Mr. Jason Lytle and Mr. James Mequio. Laura, again, I need a bind over sheet on Jason Lytle. Mr. Mequio, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Judge.
All right. How's everything in Detroit?
Oh, not bad. A little cloudy today, but it's been nice. We got a little family get together up here from the people on the east side, so it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, well, good for you. We get all those Portuguese people together. Who knows what happens?
That's right.
All right. This is Jason Scott Lytle, who I know. Mr. Lytle, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
This is Judge Middleton. You're here with your attorney, Mr. James Mequio. He's connected to us by a Zoom telephone feed. This is People versus Jason Scott Lytle, file 21787FY. Mr. Lytle, you're charged with conspiracy to drive away a motor vehicle of another. Let me get the actual complaint. The allegation is that on or about March 3rd that you did conspire to unlawfully drive away a motor vehicle that belonged to James Brian Hudson, charged as a second or subsequent offense. It's a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. You're charged as a second habitual offender, which makes it a 7.5-year maximum felony. It's my understanding that you're going to waive your right to have a preliminary examination this morning, and that will bind the matter over to circuit court for further proceedings. Mr. McWeir, was that your understanding?
That's correct, Your Honor. I spoke with my client, and we've agreed that to waive preliminary examination this morning.
Mr. Lytle, that is not an admission of guilt. It's simply an acknowledgement the prosecutor could show probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause that you did it. Would bind the matter over to circuit court where your lawyer could further negotiate the situation with the prosecutor. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
And that's what you wish to do?
Yes.
Let me read you the language. I, Jason Scott Lytle, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges and the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Davis, you accept the waiver?
We do, Your Honor.
Show the waivers entered. The next step will be a status conference in the circuit court. You posted a $10,000 surety bond. Mr. Lytle, are you in Saginaw?
No, I'm not. That's why I was looking at these paperwork, and I'm not a second habitual offender. I've never been charged with anything like this. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of mix-up because it says on my paperwork I live in Saginaw, and no, it's not me.
All right, they say your prior offense is resisting obstructing a police officer as an attempt here in Centerville. What's your address?
900
Okay,
North Lakeview. 900 North Lakeview, Your Honor. And I never was charged with anything like that before.
Well, let's look. Anyway, that's certainly something your lawyer can sort out.
Okay.
Um,
The only time I've ever been in trouble before was in 2011.
Well, there's a bunch of baggage in here. Jason Scott, you and I have met before.
Right.
In 2011, you were charged with possession and resisting and obstructing, and you pled to attempted resisting and obstructing, got your probation violated. So I think that is the case. It's file 112726. It had an attempted RO in it. So you're the right person, and that is the right charge.
I've never been on probation, Your Honor.
I'll check on that, Your Honor. We'll just check the date of births, and I'm sure if there's an error in the supplementation, the prosecutor will be happy to take care of that.
No, it's him. He pled to use of morphine and did 50 days in jail, fines and costs, concurrent with the attempted resisting and obstructing charge. He's right, he didn't go to probation. Our old friend Kevin Clyden was his attorney back in 2011. So it's the right thing. But anyway, you can further sort it out. So the advice is, I'll correct the address on this sheet, but the matter will be bound over to circuit court. And you can go on about your business, okay?
All right. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. McBill.
Bye.
All right, let me see, and I'll remove Mr. Lytle. Yeah, I didn't think he was from Saginaw. All right, Mr. Lytle will be in cut touch. All right, now. Let's see if we can free up Luke and Mr. Bush, and then we'll focus on Paul Gibson's cases. Luke, who's your client?
Austin Wallace, welcome back.
Thank you. Is Mr. Wallace in custody?
No, he's not, and somewhat of a mea culpa. Well, not somewhat, a mea culpa on my part. I assumed that that he had been mailed notice for this morning's hearing, and I don't think that he was in fact notified.
Well, let's
I have
take a look.
spoken to him in the past, but frequently. So at this point, and I have spoken to him about a potential resolution, but I think I dropped the ball and didn't provide him notice. We've spoken, but I don't remember speaking directly about a date.
No, it didn't work. About par for the course. Let's see what I see here.
I guess from my notes, it looks like neither he nor his co-defendant showed up for the PEC and a bench warrant was issued. So I don't know if they gave him notice of the new date before he left the jail.
No, I don't think he was arrested. He then he didn't appear for that hearing, and I reached out to him.
Set for 7:20 in front of Judge Pattison.
Mm-hmm.
Bench warrant order. Notice of pre-exam sent to the defendant for today's date. I don't know if you gave him notice, but we did.
Oh, you did? I was relying on the notice to appear. It just indicated that copies were distributed to myself, the court, and the prosecutor. So
No, let's take a look. No, there's the one that was given to him. I spoke with Tab. She advised me to email you. This is your email. Cassie and Othen both contacted me Tuesday afternoon as for missing the prelims. The warrants had not been entered. So I'm gonna do a bench warrant. He got notice. I'm gonna do a 48-hour hold.
okay.
Plus his phone number doesn't work. bond $10,000 cash or surety, 48-hour hold. He needs to take this a little more seriously. Is that the only one you have for today, Luke?
Yes.
Luke, I tried the number that ended in 0023, as you heard, without success. You
Yeah,
got another number, you can work on that.
I have been. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Thank you. We'll see whether you can get him in here, but he's not been very conscientious about appearing. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. John, what have you got?
I have Mr. Snyder. Apparently he's in jail. We've been having problems connecting and he's been scheduled and missed and been in and out.
Well, you want to talk to him?
Yeah, I've talked to him just very briefly one time.
All right, let me dial him up. Good morning. This is Judge Middleton calling. We're in the middle of our pre-exams, and we need to see a couple customers. Deborah Davis would like to see Garrett Snyder. We'll start with him.
Mr. Snyder, okay.
And then we'll see Zachary Hilliard.
Hilliard, okay.
All right, thanks.
Yep, we'll get them down there. Bye.
John, if I said that you or I wanted them, they wouldn't bring them. But if I say that Debbie wants them, they hop right to it.
After all
All
of
right.
this, we just don't have much clout, Judge.
People.
No, we don't. All right, we got Mr. Fraze, we got Mr. Howard, we got LaDonna Topping, we got Mr. Rake in the waiting room. He's struggling. We got Brody Johnson, who was dropping the F-bomb on the record, and I put him in the waiting room. And then we got Jennifer. Let's see who this is.
Your Honor, I'm going to guess it's Jennifer Green. Just wanted to make sure the court is aware we did amend the complaint and it was sent through this morning. So she'll need to be arraigned on the new charge, which, I mean, shouldn't be too much of a surprise based on the police report, but it's a possession of meth as count 1, and then the possession of the fentanyl as count 2.
Well, let me see if it got added to her on base. She's also about an hour late.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, you're way late to the party. Are you Jennifer Green?
I am. Yeah, I was having trouble. I kept getting kicked off, and I called the lady at the courthouse to let her know. And then I've just been waiting now, just said I'm waiting for you to let me in the room.
Okay. Are you Jennifer Ann Green?
I am.
All right, I'm gonna leave you right where you are for a minute. Debbie, I don't have that new complaint yet. Let me see if
I don't, I'm not sure about that either.
All right, Miss Green, I'll put you back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Did you say there was one?
All right, the jail's not here yet. What are we gonna do with Miss LaDonna Topping?
I sent you an email regarding a counter offer this morning.
Okay, yeah, I'll just need to call her or talk to her in a breakout room. Now, Brody Johnson says that he's got to go to a funeral this morning, so he was going to do a misdemeanor plea offer. So I don't know if we could try to do that now, or he's asking, can he?
No, we can do it now.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Are you Brody Jack Johnson?
Yes, sir.
I put you back in the waiting room because you were cursing on the feed here.
Right.
You're charged with unlawfully driving away a motor vehicle, driving suspended second offense, thank you, and failing to report an accident. Those are 1 felony and 2 misdemeanors. Deborah, what's the plea offer here?
Your Honor, he's going to plead to driving while license suspended, first offense, as well as leaving the scene of a property damage accident.
That is my understanding of the plea, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Johnson, let me pull this up. All right, the warrant says that on or about 5/22 of 21 in Fabius Township, you took Shauna Schweitzer's car, Hyundai, and that's the auto theft charge. That's being dismissed. The allegation is also that you were driving a car while you were suspended out on Coon Hollow Road. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. And that you failed to report an accident that had more than $1,000 worth of damage. And that is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There'll be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Gibson has been appointed to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wish. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury cannot hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, tell me what happened. You took your girlfriend's car. Is that who you're with today? Is she Juana who signed in?
Yes.
All right, so you're with Shauna right now?
Yeah.
All right, so you took her car and wrecked it. Tell me what happened.
I stopped over to her house to fix her car. My buddy down the street, he has a lot of tools, so I opened the door, yelled into her. I was like, "Shauna, take the car to fix it." You know, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but I didn't think I was going to get in an accident either.
Well, you fixed it all right. It caught fire. You crashed it, it caught fire, and then you took off running.
No, that's not me.
Well, it says here,
it never caught
fire
fire.
arrived on the scene. No one was around. I guess the fire is representative of the fire personnel. Anyway, there was a crash. Driver came out of the woods. What did it do to the car?
It didn't do anything to the car. In fact, I got a flatbed from my uncle and towed it home. And it actually, like, more of the electronical fuses inside that actually worked versus when I went in the creek, they didn't work. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, me going in the creek or not.
Was your license suspended at that time?
Yes.
All right. Are you done with
Your
it?
Honor, Mr. Powey's in and he should be waiting for you.
All right, thank you.
He would like to speak with Mr. Gibson.
Yes,
at some
Mr.
point.
Gibson would like to speak to him,
Okay.
and I was gonna put him in there, but I had to relinquish
I
the room.
understand. So thank you
Okay.
for,
All right,
doing
thanks. I'm looking for your driving record in here. Darn it. No, I don't have one, so I'll take your word that you're suspended. I'm gonna get more information. I need the police report. And driving record. Are you working somewhere?
No, after being let go due to COVID, and I'm burying my mother today.
Yes, I'm very sorry. What time's the funeral?
11 o'clock.
Well, we'll get you out of here. Where is it?
It's Moore Park Church, I believe.
Who's your mom?
She was Serena Kelly. Husband.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I saw. So Jimmy Kelly's your stepdad?
Yes, he is.
Well, I'm very sorry. I used to work with Jimmy when we were both just kids. I saw that. She was not very old. I'm sorry for your loss. Well, you got other things to take care of. Let's set this for sentence for August 9 at 11. Does that work for you, Paul?
Yes, it does. August, or it's August.
That's a Monday.
August.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you got things to take care of right now. You're good to go, and I'll see you on August 9th at 1 o'clock, or 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay?
See you then, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, everyone else, we're thanking you for your patience. Let's bring in Frank Poway and the jail. And this is Garrett Snyder, and I'm gonna attempt to open 2 breakout rooms. And let me see if I can accomplish it. Every time I try to do more than one, I get sideways. All right, John, I'm gonna assign you and your client to a breakout room.
Thank you, Judge.
Jail and John Bush. And Paul, who did you need to see? Miss Topping?
Yeah, I mean, whichever order, it doesn't matter to me the order. So yes, Topping's one I need to talk to.
All right, I'm gonna send you both into the breakout rooms. All right. Now, I'm gonna bring Miss Green back in. They brought me her complaint, and I'm gonna arraign her on the new complaint. Miss Green, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
What happened, John?
It was Zachary Hilliard in the room.
Oh, they brought the wrong guy. So did you ask him to bring the
No,
right guy?
I thought maybe you needed, I wasn't sure, Judge, so I didn't say anything.
No, they got the wrong guy in there. All right, we'll come back to that. Give me a minute.
That was my mistake then. I'm sorry.
Well, mine, he's a misdemeanor that we left over from this morning. Jennifer Green, your
Yes.
lawyer's in a breakout room right now, but I'm going to arraign you on this new complaint. It's alleged that on or about July 21st, 2020, that you possessed methamphetamine and fentanyl, deadly combination. The meth charge is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison, the fentanyl charge is up to 4 years in prison. We'll come back to this. The other problem is I don't know if I can only close one breakout room or I gotta close them both. I think I'm out of luck. Deborah, Mr. Hilliard is a leftover arraignment on a driving without a valid license. And
He's probably in custody on something else, I'm guessing.
yes, let's see what else he's in custody on. He's got 6 days on a probation violation. I tried to bring him back and I don't see him. We're not very far away, everyone, from coming back to live court proceedings. We're going to be continuing to do things, some things by Zoom, but other things we'll be doing live. Certainly testimonial things we'll be doing live. Oh, I'm gonna have to kick Paul out of that room. He takes a long time. And I can't get I'm just gonna have to close it. "51 seconds. Miss Green, you light in one spot. You're making me dizzy. I keep
Oh, I'm
seeing
sorry.
you moving
I'm
around.
just pacing. I know I'm pacing. I'm sorry.
I'll put you in the waiting room away for your lawyer so I don't pass out from vertigo. Mr. Hilliard, I'm sorry, Mr. Gibson, I had to close both waiting rooms to get John's client back here. I'll put you back in a moment. Were you done with Miss Topping?
I guess I was just gonna ask Deborah a question if I could. Are we on the record right now?
Yeah, so
Oh,
give me
okay.
just
I'll send her an
retake.
email or something really quick.
Just email me.
All right, Mr. Hilliard, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You're Zachary James Hilliard. You're charged with driving without a valid license. It's alleged to have occurred on July 17th here in St. Joe County. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The way this is charged. You've been in jail for 6 days on another charge. How do you plead to that driving charge?
Guilty.
Anybody threaten you to get you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Or threaten you?
No.
Where were you going?
To my cousin's birthday party.
Well, at least it was something important. Was your license suspended?
No, I never got all the way through getting my license.
Yeah, so it's no ops ever. Whose car were you driving?
Mine.
Well, there's no birthday party exception to the fact that you don't have a license. You've been in jail for 6 days on a probation violation. What are you in jail for?
Probation revocation.
Which judge?
Patterson.
All right. Do you know what your out date is?
October 12th.
Oh boy. All right. I'm going to give you 6 days credit, 6 days. $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee, $125 or 2 days jail. You get swallowed up by your other stuff. Let me see if I can figure out what the file number is. Is it on a domestic violence charge?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's this one. 201877. All right, Mr. Hilliard, that takes care of this traffic matter. And you're good to go.
Thank you.
I need Mr. Snyder. Mr. Snyder, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Your lawyer, Mr. Bush, would like an opportunity to speak with you in a breakout room. I'm trying to get him cleared up here for his day. Delete, start over. I'm going to put you in a separate room where you can talk to your lawyer.
Okay.
All right, that would be John Bush and the jail. All right. Now, we were talking about Miss Topping. Did you have an opportunity to finish speaking with her, Paul, before I abruptly cut you off?
If I could just briefly speak with her, yes, I believe we're going to have a plea, but I just need to go over it with her again.
All right, let me see if I can accomplish this. right, Mr. Poway, thank you for your patience. I'm gonna. Mr. Rocca, I just brought you back to tell you we didn't forget about you. Your lawyer's talking with some other people, so I'll put you back in the waiting room. Deborah, is there a plea offer in this topping case?
There is. It would be a misdemeanor, 2-count misdemeanor.
To what?
DV first and reckless driving.
And dismiss the assault with a dangerous weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Close out a bunch of this stuff that's jamming things up here. The lights are blinking. Did it storm?
I don't think so. It looks sunny outside still.
Okay, maybe a squirrel bit the transformer again.
A lot of squirrel problems around here.
Yes, we do. Mr. Howard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Judge.
All right, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room while we wait here. Mr. Fraser, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room also. And Mr. Poway, you as well. We'll get you off the live feed. All right, we'll leave them in the waiting room. While we sit here. I had a lot. There's Mr. Bush. Mr. Bush, what are you gonna do with Mr. Snyder?
Your Honor, what I would like to do is I would like to go to the jail tomorrow morning and see him face to face. There is an offer from the prosecutor involving a jail cap. He's raising some issues I want to discuss with him in greater detail. This is just a property crime. Is there any chance we could be heard on bond today?
Let's take a look. Deborah, what's your thought?
Well, this is a really old case, honestly, and I'm not sure where he's been and what happened. So let me check on a few things here. I mean, John, do you know why he?
I believe the only reason he's in jail is the bond on this case. That's the main question I asked him.
It is substantial. Let's take a look. Let me close the breakout rooms. Just topping this back. Perhaps we could do that one first, and that would free Paul up to talk to some other clients. While we wait to bring your guy back, if we have to have a bond motion. This is file 20219FY, People versus LaDonna Luann Topping. That's you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Way last August of 2020, they charged you with assault with a dangerous weapon and reckless driving. The warrant issued back in October of 2020, and you didn't get arrested until July 14th of 2021. So almost a year has passed since this incident occurred. The prosecutor has agreed to dismiss the charges of felonious assault for a plea to reckless driving and domestic violence first offense. You've had an opportunity to discuss that with your lawyer, Mr. Gibson. Are you going to plead to those two misdemeanor charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let me tell you some things that you need to know. Excuse me just a moment.
You're okay.
I'm losing my voice. I talk a lot. Just ask my
Yeah.
wife. All right. These are some serious charges that are left. Excuse me. Domestic violence is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Reckless driving is a misdemeanor under the Motor Vehicle Code that's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. That results in the suspension of your driver's license, I believe, for 60 days. So that's a big deal. But the felony charge would be dismissed. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Other than the plea agreement here, did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this charge
No, sir.
or threaten you?
No.
Do you understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will be no trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Gibson is here to represent you. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses, excuse me, for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath, and you would have the right to be presumed innocent if and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the affidavit says that you were dating a guy named...
Mr. Horn, you've actually had a prior case with us before.
Yes. Yeah, I met you in that other case. Well, anyway, he says you took his car. Tell me what happened.
I was trying to leave after an argument and he tried to stop me. I pushed him away. I got in the vehicle and of course I was really upset with my anxiety and I have PTSD and I just lost control of the vehicle.
And you hit a water line or something. Did it like spray water up in the air?
No, I didn't damage it that bad, but I did damage the property.
All right. What was the assault part?
I was gonna assume from me pushing him away from me when I tried to leave.
Is that acceptable to you, Mr. Gibson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Deborah?
People would accept that as a factual basis. I believe she is eligible for a DV deferral if she so chooses to do that. We haven't had any contact from the victim.
This is old. Well, Donna, what it was that I see you on? Was it a landlord tenant case?
No, it was a domestic assault. I was the victim actually last time.
Okay, yes. All right, well, I'm gonna get some more information. I need a police report. And victim input. Do you and he have children together?
I actually just miscarried, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna set this for sentencing for, let's take a look and see how crowded that day is. I've already set Mr. Gibson for one case for 11 o'clock on August 9th. Does that work for you, Paul?
Yes.
Ms. Topping, what's your occupation?
I am employed on the weekends right now, and I'm already seeking more employment throughout the week. I've had
Where do you
two.
work on the weekends?
I work at Springport Speedway track. It's a racetrack in Springport.
That's quite a ways up there. Do you still live in Fulton?
No, sir. I live in Battle Creek. I've lived here about 8 months.
I think you told me that when I saw you last time. Mr. Gibson, would you email us her current address? All right, Ms. Topping, I've set this matter for sentencing for August 9th at 11 o'clock. That's a Monday morning. We'll give you that notice.
Okay.
You stay in contact with your lawyer, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you then.
Am I okay to leave?
Yep, I'm going to remove you right now. All right, that's Ms. Topping. We got Mr. Snyder, who's been waiting, and poor Mr. Bush has been here for an hour and a half to try to take care of one case. Mr. Snyder, let's talk to you in just a moment. Let me get your case up here. This is Michael Lee Snyder. It's alleged that on or about Christmas Eve of 2020, that you did use unlawfully a financial transaction device that belonged to Betty Boyd as a habitual offender, third habitual offender, I think making it punishable by up to 15 years imprisonment. 3 separate counts, Dollar General. You're presently in custody. Mr. Bush would like to meet with you to discuss this matter further in person. So I think what we'll do is set this for prelim for next week. If it's worked out, fine. If it isn't, set for prelim for August 3rd at 1 o'clock. Bond in this case has been set, I can't even tell, it was 1,500, then it was 5,000, then it was 10,000, 7,500. You got arrested in March, got notice of arraignment at jail, set a pre-exam conference for March 25th. The bond was posted and you failed to appear for a pre-exam conference. Judge Pattison issued a bench warrant. The warrant was outstanding from April, and then you got picked up on June 14th. You posted another bond on June 22nd. Again, you failed to appear for a pre-exam conference and made no effort to contact your attorney. So I issued a bench warrant for your arrest, and then you got arrested again on July 1st. We attempted to forfeit your bond with the bonding company, and they must have picked you up. Mr. Bush, I'm not real interested in having a bond hearing on a guy that's failed to appear for 2 pre-exam conferences, but and had no effort to contact you on either of the previous occasions. But I'll hear it. If you wish to argue about it, we can discuss it.
Well, I know Mr. Snyder is a Sturgis resident. He lives with his mother in Sturgis, Michigan on East Chicago Road. By my calculations, it's only about 13 blocks from my office. Certainly, I guess we're going to be face to face for any further court dates, but if we do anything by Zoom, he could come here, obviously. Just talked to him briefly back on July 9th. That's really the only contact I've been able to have with him. This is a property case. I think the amount of money involved is probably less than $100. It was credit card used 3 times. I would ask the court to give him a modest cash or commercial surety bond to ensure his appearance at the next court date.
Deborah, what's your thought?
It was actually several $100s as far as the facts of this case are, as they're alleged to be. This is a situation where twice now we have had pre-exam conferences where we're here and he doesn't show up. And I am not interested in subpoenaing these witnesses to come here next Tuesday just to have him not show up. So if he wants his prelim, I think it would be wise to simply just leave him in custody unless he can post this bond as it's set now. And then next Tuesday, after the prelim is concluded, we could address bond at that point. So I would ask the court to deny any changes in the bond.
All right.
And also he does have a history of methamphetamine use, and his CCH has got all sorts of things on it that would make me concerned about what he's doing while he's out and about and not showing up to court.
Drug addiction and fail to appear are common factors in the same equation. I'm going to deny the motion. I'm going to defendant failed to appear on 2 previous occasions. We'll review further at the time of bind over. That means, Mr. Snyder, if you waive the preliminary examination, we'll discuss bond at that time. If a preliminary examination is held and there's found to be enough evidence to bind the matter over, we'll review the bond again at that time. But for now, it's denied. As Ms. Davis said, we had to chase you around twice your bonding company showed up. They weren't very happy because they were about to lose $10,000. And you never contacted your lawyer, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'd like to hold on to you while I have you. Mr. Bush is going to come see you at the jail. And we should know how we're going to proceed at that time.
Mr. Stein,
Mr. Bush,
my plan, Mr. Stein, is to see you first thing tomorrow morning.
if it is a waiver, John, I can have a bond hearing at any time you wish, but that would preclude Ms. Davis from having to bring witnesses in.
I understand.
Thank you, Mr. Bush.
John, thank you for your patience. Mr. Snyder, you're good to go. I'm assuming we're going to need that room. Yes?
Excuse me. Can I get the exact amount of the alleged transaction, please?
Yeah, your lawyer can talk with you about that tomorrow.
With the police report?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm bringing him a police report tomorrow.
Okay, you're good to go. All right. Now, Paul, we've got a number of your clients all stacked up like cordwood in the waiting room. Let's see who this person is, Miss iPhone.
This is Edward Fraze.
All right, Mr. Fraze, I keep losing you.
Yeah, I'm bouncing on and off Wi-Fi. I'm trying to keep the signal. It's kind of, I don't know if it's the router messing up or it's my phone messing up, but it keeps kicking me off.
All right, you're there. Now, Paul, what I would like to do is deal with Mr. Poway, who's got some medical issues and he's here in our waiting room. What are we going to do with that?
Let's see here.
Is he interested in ADTC?
This is Frank Poway.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to talk with him, but
this is going to be excruciating. We're going to have to go through each one of these one by one, but Mr. Fraze, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. And I'm going to bring Mr. Poway in.
I think Mr. Fraze for Fraze, my thinking is he should just waive and then he should get screened for drug court and then he can decide if he wants to either do that or just do your plea that you had other plea. But he needs to waive, obviously.
Right, either way, it would be a waiver.
All right, we'll bring him back in a moment. Let me delete these. I only need one room now. Mr. Poway, have you had an opportunity to talk to your lawyer yet?
No, I haven't.
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance.
Well, did you call him up and make an appointment?
No, I did not. I didn't know anything about it. I just got paperwork in the mail yesterday, matter of fact.
All right, I'm going to put you in a room so you can speak with him.
I didn't even know who he was till yesterday.
Mr. Poway, do you see a button that says join?
Yes, I do. Click on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's back to just me and you again, Deborah. It's so frustrating. The defendants don't show up. They don't contact their lawyers. I can't really blame Paul for not consulting with his clients if they don't make any effort to talk to them.
Right.
But we're going to do this dance 6 more times. We'll do Mr. Fraze next, and then Mr. Rocca is going to be a difficult client. Well, give me a moment. I always get a warm feeling when I leave here in the courtroom and go back in my office and see all the things that have stacked up on my desk while I've been in here. A couple PPO requests and
I like being in here during the hearings. People can't come in and stack crap on my desk.
lock the door.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in here, so they can stack as much as they want on there.
Oh.
How many prelims do you have this afternoon?
6, maybe. I don't know. They're split up. I have a few. Casey has a few.
Rob was of the opinion that going live helps settle cases.
I don't think it has any effect, honestly.
I don't know. I had a testimonial case yesterday in small claims court. And I don't know if the no-shows are worse. We had a number of misdemeanor no-shows this morning, and really all they have to do is dial in, and they don't even do that. So I don't know if when we go live, it's going to be better or worse. Rob thinks it's going to be better. I tend to disagree.
I really don't think that it's going to get better.
I can't make it any easier for people to call in on a feed. And these felony cases, particularly the meth cases where they make zero effort to contact their lawyer.
That's the thing. I don't know. It's like if you have.
But that was always the thing.
Yeah.
When we had testing at the day reporting center and they wouldn't show up for testing and they wouldn't contact their lawyer. And
Is there anything to this claim that the defendants have had? Well, I didn't get my paperwork until 2 days ago that this was my attorney.
No, I don't believe so. I think they get it at the jail.
That's what I thought too. Do we need to highlight that section where it says who their attorney is? I mean, our phone numbers as attorneys don't change. Well, I mean, once in a very great while.
Well, and it would seem like if you were charged with a felony, you might give it some gravity.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've been bouncing this ball for 25 years, 40 years. Well, earlier in my career, people took things more seriously, but
I thought that maybe taking the bond violations more seriously would have a chilling effect on people not showing up and getting more crimes committed while they're on bond, but yeah, we'll see.
I saw an article this week that some of the states that are experimenting, or not experimenting, they've implemented no cash bond. You're either in jail or you're out on a PR bond. The no-show rate's about 12%. I don't know what ours is. I've got a number of people that I don't know anything about. I don't know if they're in custody. I've got Mr. Howard's there. Oviana Harper is hospitalized somewhere.
That's what they're saying. I'm not opposed to an adjournment for a week. We're offering an attempt RNO so long as she deals with her mental health. And
Larry Reed is in custody. Anthony Cario is in custody, and Chad Wyrick is in custody.
But Larry Reed is in custody in Branch County, from what I understand. And Chad Wyrick is in federal custody, which he's placed in Newaygo, is what Paul had said. So I'm gonna guess that that's not gonna get resolved today. I told Paul he needs to contact Mr. Wyrick at the Newaygo County Jail and see what he wants to do, because we're not dismissing these.
Well, let's see here. I didn't know about either of those things. Mr. Lytle, no, Mr. Reed do we know why he's in the Branch County Jail?
Don't think that I do officially. Judge Pattison cleared up my afternoon a little bit. Sounds like a lot of the prelims are being resolved. So that's good.
Oh, good. And Wyrick is in federal custody. How do these guys manage to get themselves into such problems?
I don't know.
Do you know what his federal charges are?
Drugs and guns. I mean, stuff that happened down here that we nollied or didn't authorize because the feds wanted him. So a lot of meth and firearms, basically.
I'm not sure how the Newaygo County hold is for Zoom proceedings.
I don't know.
Some of the places are better than others. All right, so I'll put Mr. Wyrick and Mr. Reed on the pile. What do you know about Chandra Archer?
I haven't been able to reach her. Is she here or?
No, there was a girl that was here earlier who I never was able to identify. And I don't know who it was. All
Looks
right.
like Shonda Archer was born in 1993, so I don't know if it looked somebody in their 20s.
It could have been, yes.
So Mr. Powey is going to be a waiver, and then there's some things that we're going to look into prior to his next court date.
Hi.
Hi, Aviana Harper.
Yes.
I just got a call from a nurse at a hospital that she's still in the hospital.
All right, that was what
They're
we
gonna be-
understood.
Yeah, they're gonna be sending a letter on.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Poway, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your patience. This is Judge Middleton. You're charged with possession of methamphetamine, and today is the day that's set for a pre-exam conference. You have a right to have a preliminary examination. You also have a right to waive it. You met with your attorney, Mr. Gibson, and he indicated you're going to waive your preliminary examination, have the matter bound over to the circuit court for further proceedings, in which case he can continue to negotiate a settlement if possible. If not, you're entitled to have a trial. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And are you going to waive the right to preliminary examination in this case?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me read you this. I, Frank James Poway, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to the preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Deborah, do you accept that?
We accept the waiver, Your Honor.
Mr. Poway, I see you got your crutches. Are you on any medication or anything today that would affect your ability to completely understand everything?
No, I understand everything. It makes me tired, sir, but I definitely understand.
All right, you seem to, but I wanted to make sure. All right, the matter will be set for a status conference in circuit court. You posted a 10,000 cash or surety bond, which is substantial. You still live here on Ottawa Street?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want you to stay in contact with your lawyer and you're free to go.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All
right, let's bring Mr. What's that?
Do I click on your leave button here?
No, you're just free to go. Just leave the room open. I may need it for somebody else.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Mr. Fraze, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Thank you for your patience. This is Judge Middleton here again. Mr. Fraze, in discussing this with your lawyer, it's my understanding that you're going to waive the preliminary examination in this case. Do you need to speak with him further, or are we good to go, Paul?
I guess I might just need to speak with him really quickly.
All right, let me put you in the breakout room. Jennifer Green, Jaden Howard, Paul Rogan. Anthony Vaccaro, is he in custody? Is not in custody. All right, I guess we could be doing worser. Let me put that in the waiting room.
Could we? I don't know. It's pretty rough.
Waiting room.
Is Vaccaro not here?
No.
It's a pretty substantial meth case.
We'll see what the deal is. Bond is $30,000, surety bond. I'm going to bring a couple of these people in and just tell them we haven't forgotten them. Miss Green, we haven't forgotten you.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Or Mr. So we're still, Mr. Gibson's talking with a client. We should be ready to do your case here in just a moment, but I just wanted to reassure you we didn't lose track. I'll put you back in the waiting room. Mr. Howard, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Same story. We didn't forget you. I just wanted to touch base and let you know that we're still waiting, so I'll put you back in the waiting room. Mr. Rocca, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Hello.
All right, I'm still here and we're still waiting. So I just wanted to touch base. I'll put you back in the wait while waiting for your lawyer. Here's Paul, and I gotta close the breakout room.
So he's going to be a waiver, Mr. Fraze.
All right.
And I'll get back to on the AD, whatever, adult drug court. I'll get back to on that one.
ADTC.
Yeah, AD. I couldn't think of that.
Not ACDC. Very different.
Yeah.
Mr. Fraze, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for your patience. It's been a long morning. We have ways to go yet. Mr. Fraze, you're charged with possession of methamphetamine, which is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $15,000. The prosecutor and your lawyer, Mr. Gibson, have been discussing some options, including possible drug treatment court. It's my understanding you're ready to have this matter bound over to circuit court, where it could be further addressed as a felony case, and in agreeing to do that, you're agreeing to waive your right to a preliminary examination and have the matter bound over to the circuit court. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I don't like doing felonies by telephone only, but we'll do the best we can. What's your date of birth, Mr. Fraze?
6/8/1984.
I, Edward Gene Fraze, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Davis, you accept that?
We do, Your Honor.
The next thing that will happen, it will be set for a status conference in the circuit court. You posted a $10,000 cash or surety bond, which is substantial. Mr. Fraze, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Are you still at the 5th Street address?
Yes, sir.
Phone number still end in 2938?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go. Stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. Gibson.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Now we've got Jennifer Green and Jaden Howard, and then we got Mr. Rocca. Who would you like to see next, Paul?
Maybe Mr. Rocca.
All right. He's got some issues. Yeah. Mr. Rocca, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, hi there.
I gotta,
Yes.
all right, just a minute.
Okay, this is my attorney, Paul.
Yes, I'm gonna put you in a room so you can speak with them.
Okay.
Again, he's charged with a felonious assault and we're only connecting by telephone. Hopefully, I'm not even sure he can do a breakout room from the telephone. Paul, would you see if he's in there?
Okay.
He may not even be there.
I think you can. It's just a matter of having to push, I should have written this down, like *6 or something to unmute yourself once you come back in.
What did that do with Mr. Rocker? There he is.
Bernard, what did you decide to do on Wallace then? Are you not doing prelim next week? Or are you leaving it on, but we're not calling witnesses to see if he shows up?
Yes, there's a bench warrant for his arrest. So we'll wait for Paul, but I'm not gonna have you bring witnesses in for someone we have an open bench warrant for.
That one is actually Luke's case from earlier.
Oh,
I
yes,
think
you
you
don't
were gonna
have to
hold
bring.
it 48 hours, but yeah, I just want to make sure that we're not doing subpoenas. Just treat it as another PEC next.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you aware of Mr. Rocca's previous assault cases?
I know that there was discussion in the office when this was charged.
All right, and now he also has a misdemeanor trial pending. He's on our jury trial list.
Oh, good.
There was a previous case with testimony at a preliminary examination a few years ago. Maybe he's not pending a jury. 3. Oops. Darn it. Well, wait a minute. He has a new charge. Samantha, could I have the new charge on Paul Rocca? 211520. A methamphetamine charge?
I don't think the warrant's been issued yet.
It shows it on in our system.
Let me look them up.
It's the same date as this, I think.
July 9th is what it said, I think, is the date of the
And
incident.
this is July 9th.
I need some checking here.
Looks like it might be part of the same thing. I'm gonna stop the record. We're still on the live feed. Let me see.
So these are from when he got arrested on the warrant for the felonious assault. And his DV case was a disturbing the peace and it was resolved, is what Marissa told me.
Deputies went to Parkville Road. He's had no shirt on. Paul was taken into custody. What was the warrant for?
The warrant was for this case, the assault with a dangerous weapon case. They just hadn't been able to take him into custody.
Oh, that occurred on June 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think he's going to be an exam. We just need to leave his on for exam, I believe.
In person.
Right, I told him that he didn't have a phone number or address for me, but I told him that when he comes in person next Tuesday at 1 to bring those for me. Because he says he's got a phone, but he doesn't have the number. I don't know. And he's got a mailing address, but he doesn't know it.
Hello?
All right, Mr.
Hello?
Rocca? Yes,
Hi there.
hello.
Hi there.
All right. Mr. Rocca?
Yes, this Middleton?
Yes, it is. In
Hi,
talking
sir.
with your, the matter is going to be set for a preliminary examination next Tuesday.
At 3?
No, at 1 o'clock. That's
1.
August.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you
All right.
need to come live in person. You need to
All
come
right.
to the courthouse. No more of this telephone only stuff. We're going to be taking testimony. You remember that other case where you were charged with assaulting your mother? We had a preliminary examination and took a lot of testimony. It's going to be the same sort of a case where we're going to take testimony about what happened, and you need to be physically here at the courthouse. Where are you staying?
Pretty much, for the first time in my life, I've experienced homelessness, and I don't like it. You know, I mean, I don't think that through the years that I've been here for the last 10 years, I don't think it, you know, I've never, it's hard to say. It's, you know, it's always bad stories about my mother, and she's very awful about the way she treats, you know, I mean, I don't think you realize
Mr. Rocca, I'll just say you need to physically be here. This is People versus Paul Thomas Rocca, 211406. Today is a pre-exam conference. We're here by telephone only, which I don't like. Mr. Rocca, you need to be here at the St. Joseph County Courthouse next Tuesday at 1 p.m. You need to stay in contact with your lawyer. And if you don't appear, we'll issue a bench warrant for your arrest. Somebody posted a substantial bond. Who put your bond up?
That's Kim. We've been partners for like 3 years now, and she knows exactly what's happening. I mean, I'm getting plagiarized by Kathy Guthrie, Pat Carpenter. I mean, I'm not a woman beater, man. I swear to God, I'm not a woman beater. I'm not.
Stop.
I mean,
stop. Shut that car door.
All right, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Or shut that off. All right, thank you.
Stop.
Okay.
Now,
there we go.
All I can tell you is you need to be here next week. There's another charge we're going to be arraigning you on at that time. When you got arrested, you had some meth and some ammunition in your possession. We'll deal with that. You need to be here physically at the courthouse next Tuesday, August 3rd at 1 p.m. All right, sir. Stay in contact with your lawyer.
Right.
Okay, that'll be something to look forward to. Paul, he has a new charge which has been issued: possession of methamphetamine and possession of ammunition. When he got arrested on this warrant on July 9th, he had 2 empty pipes and some 22 caliber bullets in his pocket. He's referring to some other people. One is his mother's sister and perhaps her brother. I'm not sure, but Kathy he referred to as his mother's sister. Anyway, let's see what happens next week. Now, we have Jaden Howard and Jennifer Green still in the waiting room. Let's bring them both in. Paul, while you were taking care of other business, I arraigned Miss Green on her amended felony complaint, which adds a methamphetamine charge and a fentanyl charge. And she's been waiting patiently. So she's set for pre-exam this morning. Originally, the charge was possession of something, cocaine. Now it's fentanyl and meth. Mr. Howard has also been waiting patiently on his meth charge. Do you need to talk to these clients?
Yes.
All right. Let me first have you talk to Mr. Howard. Miss Green, I want to put you back in the waiting room. I apologize. Mr. Howard?
Yep.
I don't like doing felony pre-exam conferences by telephone only. I can't see you. This is not really the good way to do business, but I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your lawyer.
Okay.
Where are you right now?
I am actually at work.
Where are you?
I work at Look Trailers in Middlebury.
All right. Yeah, that's just drives Judge Pattison crazy. It's like it's not important enough. But I'll put you in a room with your attorney and you can speak with him. It's hard to do this by phone. Hopefully you can click into it. Oops. Debbie, I am concerned about that woman that logged in earlier. I never did figure out who she was. She had a shirt on that said Fair Trade or something. I could never get her sound on, so I removed her. and she never came back. So I don't know if she was a misdemeanor or one of these non-appearing felonies.
I can look, if I look at WebJam from mugshot on our felony people, might be able to, I didn't see her, but I can maybe go back on your feed somewhere and find it.
Not sure who she is. I'll put his other case for arraignment on 3. Shut the record off once again. The trick is remember to turn it back on.
Judge, were you talking about the person in an orange shirt on an LG phone?
Yes.
That was Diana Duncan Roth.
Oh, how'd you figure that out?
I have sources.
Well, you're
Somebody
so
that
smart.
knows her sent me a message that said, if that's who Judge is talking about.
Well, she was a disorderly person, and Three Rivers case, I believe, in order to show cause, but I would note that she was actually did a flyby. You got spies all over the place.
I do. Always watching.
All right, we got Green, Howard, Wyrick, Reed. We'll make a record on those. We've got Vaccaro and Archer, who are no-shows.
Did we agree then to just adjourn Oviana Harper?
Well, yeah, where's that file? They came in, Samantha came in while we're waiting. The hospital called and said she's still there and they were going to send a letter. You solved one of today's mysteries.
I always liked those Nancy Drew books when I was growing up. So it's that time in my life to put them to good use.
I was reading War and Peace and that sort of thing. Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire, light stuff. We'll maybe make a record on the server.
So Shanda Archer and Ashley Williams are two names that I heard Shanda's earlier, but she's not here. And then Williams, I haven't heard anybody even say her name. I'm assuming she's not in the waiting room. She's on my list.
She's crossed out, Nalipras.
Oh, well, lucky her. I have no idea.
Yes. There's a sale that week.
See what happens when I leave for one day last week? It goes crazy. How do we even stay alive?
I was gone for 8.5 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then all last week. But I came in almost every day, every other day. So Judge Pattison didn't have to sign any orders while I was gone. He had very few, so I figured he had enough to do. So I took care of my own stuff.
We kept him pretty busy.
You know, one option is when these people don't contact their lawyer, just set them for a prelim, but that like cuts off our nose to spite our face while we wait then we have the backup at the prelim date.
Right.
Cancel everybody's bond and leave them in jail, so they'll contact their lawyer.
I mean, not the worst idea I've heard.
That's
I mean,
not a very
once
pop-
they,
Not a real
once they,
popular concept right now.
but once they meet with their attorney, bonds reinstated. I mean, just makes it easy to meet with them, I suppose.
All right, you set that up. Let me know how that works out.
I will.
We were changing some emails. The Supreme Court's latest order revoking and amending a bunch of things. Have you seen it?
I have not looked.
From yesterday. It has to be read very carefully. And it talks about our obligation to hold conferences remotely. I'll forward it to you.
Thank you. Can you get the Cliff Notes version for me too? So.
Well, Rob and I, first, we got it late in the afternoon and I have to read it. Like fly spec it.
Great.
I'll send it to David also and Gary.
Sure, thank you.
So Mr. Howard is going to waive.
All right.
Good.
All right. I gotta close the breakout room. Laura, could I have a bind over on Howard and Green, just in case? Jaden Howard and Jennifer Green. I've got to wait 44 seconds. I'll turn the record
Would
back.
Jennifer Green consider ADTC?
Green?
Mm-hmm.
I can discuss that with her. Definitely.
All right, Mr. Howard, are you back with us?
Yeah, I am.
All right, your lawyer, Mr. Gibson, indicated that you're going to waive the preliminary examination in this matter. In just a moment, I'm going to read that language to you. By waiving preliminary examination, you're not admitting any guilt or accepting any responsibility. You're simply acknowledging that the prosecutor could establish probable cause that a crime was committed and probable cause that you did it. We'll give your lawyer the opportunity to continue to negotiate the matter with the prosecutor. They may be discussing drug treatment court or other options. You're not giving up any right to have a trial. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
The language says, I, Jaden Lee Howard, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yeah.
Ms. Davis, you accept the waiver?
I accept. Thank you.
You posted a $7,500 cash or surety bond. Are you still at the Cohan Road address?
Yes, I am.
Is that in Branch County?
No, it's not. That's St. Joseph County in Colon, Michigan.
All right. Are you employed?
Yes, I am. I work at Look Trailers in Middlebury off of County
Oh,
Road
yeah, I
4.
think you told. This will probably be the last hearing that you can proceed by Zoom. I don't like doing this by telephone only. I can't see you. It's not really the ideal way to deal with these serious cases. But I'll accept your waiver. Henceforth, I think you'll have to appear in person. But the matter is bound over. The day will be set for a pre-exam conference. And you stay in contact with your lawyer. Do you have any questions?
I don't believe so. Any questions that I have, I can bring to my attorney.
All right. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right. Let's bring the screen in. We'll set up a breakout room. Delete. Ms. Green, you've been very patient. Your lawyer would like an opportunity to speak with you. You just got arraigned on that new charge.
Okay.
And I put you and your lawyer in the same room.
Okay.
And what happens in this circumstance, one of the reasons why Judge Patterson's so frustrated, we have to sit here and curate this. In the other world, Paul would meet with those clients, they'd sign a written waiver of arraignment or a preliminary examination, and the matter would be bound over. I wouldn't need to sit here for 3 hours monitoring the Zoom feed.
Right.
So there are advantages and disadvantages, but this process has required district judges to be in the courtroom on the bench for much longer time than before. So we'll see how things evolve. Yes, you've got a segue right into prelims. And
Yeah, I
I've
brought my
got,
lunch today, so I wouldn't have to go anywhere.
I don't go anywhere anymore, but this is going to be a work through lunch day, I think. We still have 5 more cases we need to address. If we didn't charge so many people with stuff, we wouldn't have this many to do.
All right. Has Miss Green been arraigned on this OWI case that it's from September 18th, 2020, and it just got authorized in May?
I don't know. 8. She has a bench warrant arraignment on June 29th. What's this? Driver suspended 2nd, dismissed. Pretrial, open and talks, driving 2nd, 7/29. I'm gonna see her on July 29th. Yes, she has been arraigned on it.
Okay.
Fine, what's this? She has, what's this? She had a meth charge in March. She did jail with an impaired driving.
Of 2020, right?
20. It started as a felony and was reduced to a drinking driving. A lot on our plate here.
So you're saying the 21-1183 SD, that's in progress as far as she's been arraigned, has a pretrial date or something?
It's set for a pretrial on July 29th, which is next 2 days from now, Thursday.
Can you just close the breakout room, Paul, and bring him back? It shouldn't be that long of a conversation.
Well, it always is. I was reading that court rule. Gave me an eye strain. "43 seconds. Paul, we closed the breakout room. Deborah wants to eat lunch, and we still got many cases to do. So it may take Miss Green a bit to get back in here. Do you know what she wants to do?
I'm assuming she's not getting a misdemeanor plea offer, so if that's the case, she'll waive then.
All right.
So was a count of possession of meth added then? Is that my understanding? Or is that it? Okay.
It was added, and I apologize. You were in a breakout room when I arraigned her on it, just to save time, but.
Yep, I'm coming right now. I'm coming right now.
First you were in the house, then you were in the yard, now you're in the barn or something, but you're here. Are you still Jennifer?
I'm in my house still.
Okay. We had to shut the breakout room because we're running short of time. We still have some other cases we need to address. It's my understanding that the prosecutor is not making a misdemeanor offer in this case, and you're agreeing to have the matter be bound over to circuit court by waiving the preliminary examination. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, let me read it to you. I, Jennifer Ann Green, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court in the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, sir.
Is that acceptable, Ms. Davis?
Yes, we accept it. Thank you.
All right. The next matter will be a status conference. You posted a all right, waiver in here. $1,000 surety bond. All right, that takes care of this felony. Now you've got two other cases set for Thursday morning. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir, I am.
The drinking driving case and the no ops case are set for pretrial on a bench warrant arraignment. So I'll see you again on Thursday morning. Yep. But this matter is bound over to the circuit court, and you stay in contact with your lawyer.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Paul, we've got 5 cases left. Anthony Vaccaro posted a $30,000 surety bond. Have you had any contact from that client?
No, he is, let's see here. All of the paperwork I was given, not one phone number is listed. So I don't have a phone number to even try for him, but I did mail him correspond. Well, he was one. Now, I don't necessarily say that he can be faulted, but he was in the county jail, and the day that I came to see him at the county jail, and he must have just bonded out like an hour or two beforehand because I had all the paperwork to give him. And then I don't know. I mailed it to him, but it was, I'm hoping that I had an up-to-date address, being that they didn't even list the phone number in the paperwork. So,
A bench warrant, hold 48 hours, bond $50,000 cash or surety. Do immediate notice of bond forfeiture. Maybe the bonding company will light a fire under him.
I did
Because I-
send an email to you with the phone number that he used when he booked into the jail.
Oh, okay. I'll try to call him like maybe over the lunch break to see if I can get a hold of him, because like I say, I did mail him some information, but I don't know if he.
Well, the bonding company gives him the date to appear when they post his bond also. So there's a large amount of methamphetamine, according to Deborah. So he gets an immediate bond forfeiture notice and 48 hours to get his butt in here. Chandra Archer. Have you had any contact from her? File 21662.
She is also. I left a message for her on the phone number that I have, and I haven't. As far as I know, she didn't call me back. I did mail her correspondence. It looks like back on July 16th. So
I'm gonna do the same thing. She posted a $15,000 bond bench warrant. She lives in Colon. A lot of people there don't have a phone.
They just don't have good service in Colon, maybe. I don't know. I think they're all phones.
Bench warrant. Bond.
So they don't bother getting a phone because the service is bad or something?
Well, maybe.
Surety, 48-hour hold. People would take things a little more seriously when they're charged with a felony charge. Do immediate notice of bond forfeiture.
So that's the party Archer.
All right, let's talk about Oviana Harper. We had some exchanged email correspondence. We got confirmation this morning that she is still in the hospital.
I was asking if her case could be adjourned.
Yes, we'll adjourn this. The hospital is going to send us a notice. I'm going to adjourn it 2 weeks so it stays on my calendar. Adjourn it to PEC 8/10.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That letter.
All right. Samantha brought me the letter, and her discharge isn't expected until 8/4. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, she's still there, so you'll each get a copy of that. Sam, would you forward that to Paul and Deborah? All right, well then we've got Chad Wyrick, who's in federal custody, and I'm just leave this set for prelim.
Is the Newaygo County, is that federal custody?
Well, the federal government pays a rate to the Newaygo County Jail for housing federal inmates there. They also house those in Grand Rapids. Now the question is, Deborah, you indicated you're not interested in dismissing this charge, whether we can get a prelim set up remotely. How about I'm not sure whether we can accomplish this by then, but I'm going to leave it set for prelim for August 3rd at 1 o'clock. See if can do remotely. And Larry Reed, Deborah, do you know if the feds are going to take interest in his case?
I'm not sure on that. I did send an email to Prosecutor Stempian, but it kicked back as him being out of town. So I sent one to Nora Geiger, who is always helping us out over here, waiting to hear back from her about why, or if he's in custody over there and why, if he's got charges or if it's some sort of probation.
I'll leave this on for prelim for 8/3/21. May need to do a remote from Branch County Jail or go get him and bring him back. I'm gonna do a writ.
My understanding is he was serving a 25-day jail sentence that he had in Branch County, and that.
I'm gonna let it on for prelim, and Deborah, I'm gonna do a writ to physically have him returned here. All right, I think that finishes every case we had. I started at 7:50. It's now 11:55. I've been sitting in this chair for 4 hours. But I think that gets us completed with everything.
Did we
on
do
the felony.
Ashley Williams? I'm trying to remember.
No. She got nolly-prossed. Deborah felt kind-hearted that day or something.
Don't put that on me. I don't know what's going on. It may be coming back for all I know.
Oh, so that case is Nale?
I had a note scrabbed through it that said it was dismissed, so.
I'll see what I can find out.
All right. Thank you
No
both.
objection.
Yeah, all right. I might
All
object.
right.
I don't know.
Thank you for your
All
help
right.
and your patience. It was a long morning for everyone, but we managed to do what we needed to do.
No.
All right, I'll be back on.